All right. Welcome to the ordinary meeting of Council for the City of Prospect for Tuesday the 27th of May. I'd like to acknowledge that the land we meet on today is the traditional land of the Kaurna people and that we respect their spiritual relationship with their country. We also acknowledge that the Kaurna people are the custodians of the Adelaide region and that their cultural and heritage beliefs are still important to the living Kaurna people today. And read you the council prayer. We humbly bow before thy throne of mercy, O God, our Heavenly Father, and seek wisdom and understanding as we face the duties of our united task, praying for the welfare of our city and the peace and prosperity of our land. In the name of Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Please be seated. On leave we have Neil and apologies, Councillor Harris, who's on holiday overseas. Good luck to him. Will someone confirm the minutes of the ordinary meeting for the 22nd of April and the special meeting of Council held on Tuesday the 13th of May? The vote. Could you speak to it?
We'll sit on the mic.
Do I have a second? Councillor Barnett, would you speak to it?
No.
Further debate? All those in favour? Against? Carried. Mayor's report is as presented on page 855 and 56. Pretty straightforward. Does anybody wish to move it?
Yeah.
Would you speak to it, Councillor Dixon?
No.
Got a seconder? Yep. Councillor Deputy Mayor, Councillor Groot, do you wish to speak to it? Or any further debate? All those in favour? Against? Carried. Verbal reports from council representatives on local government or community organisations. Do we have any verbal reports from reps tonight? No? Move along. Questions with notice, we have nil. Questions without notice, do we have any? Councillor Press.
Yes. I've heard some rumours that's floating around two local schools, Walkerville and Vale Park. I hope the CEO can enlighten us about some allegations or alleged allegations that happened between a staff member and a state member of the Labor Party, who's a member of Parliament, in regards to a full drive being driven at a staff member or being called a paedophile and then being investigated by the Education Department and the staff.
Council, these two schools in our council area?
No, this regards to our staff member, Prospect Council staff member. So can the CEO enlighten us whether he knows about an investigation that was held over the last few years or whatever?
Hang on.
Last few years. Whether it was like a few years ago or it was now or whenever, I'm asking the question.
Only since you were brought.
CEO?
Yeah, sorry, no, about years to now, I've not heard anything to that effect at all. I'm happy to receive any information that anyone has.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions about notice?
Yeah, look, to the CEO, why is it that we can spend so much money on the St Helens Childcare Centre trying to patch the roof up and have some plumbing company attend all the time when there's a leak, and it's patched and patched and patched and patched and patched, where they still to this day have leaks that have actually blocked off a toilet section where children can't actually use the toilet because of the leaks, slippery floor, and they're worried about water going into their lighting systems and electrical system. Why is it we spend so much money on plumbing and trying to fix a roof, and a staff member always attending down there at a huge cost to our council? Why haven't we just gone and put a new roof on that building?
Under the cost of money.
Why are we spending so much money on repairs when we could have spent that money on a roof?
That's the question. Acting Director.
There has been some building maintenance works carried out on that side, but it's always in reference in relation to the lease agreement that we have with the childcare centre. Happy to take anything else in terms of responding back.
Catch up afterwards and get some more detail.
Thank you for that answer. The council staff have known about this leaking problem. Why should children be put at risk when this council can spend money on a tool down under and other things, and yet it can't spend money on fixing a roof that a building that we actually own?
You're making a statement, not asking a question.
Well, I'm not happy with the answer.
Well, you can do something at a General Business Council. But have any further questions without notice? No, in the case, move on. Petitions we have nil, deputations we have 1. Rachel Sanderson MP, State Member for Adelaide, and Jonathan Robran, Manager of Operation Flinders Foundation. I'll talk to us about the Operation Flinders program. If you could both come forward and occupy these 2 seats here. and under our rules of deputations, in accordance with the Act of the State Parliament, so we wouldn't want to breach that, you have 5 minutes in which to speak on any topic. This is something that we would like to change the Act just for future reference. For the purposes of our records, could you please state your names and addresses?
Rachel Sanderson, the State Member for Adelaide, and 84 Prospect Road, Prospect.
Jonathan Robran, Operation Flinders Foundation, 291 St Vincent Street, Port Adelaide.
Okay, thanks. 5 minutes starts.
Thank you, Mayor Lachlan and elected members. I will speak very, very briefly about the Operation Flinders program and our initiatives that we have here in the Prospect region. Operation Flinders, we're a world standard wilderness adventure therapy program whereby we take young people out of their comfort zone, their peer environments, and away to the Flinders Ranges on an exercise where they have the opportunity to experience the 8-day trek with us and finish the program with a new outlook on life, with a newfound confidence and a belief in themselves that they can have a more positive future for themselves. We're a not-for-profit organisation. We began our operations back in 1991. We've been operating for over 20 years, and during that time over 5,000 young people have undertaken the Operations Flinders Trek in the Northern Flinders Ranges. We run 5 field exercises each year for a maximum of 100 young people on each exercise, so we have the capacity to take up to 500 youth on our programs each year. These young people are youth at risk. They're identified as being at risk of offending, substance abuse, dropping out of school, young people who have challenges in their lives and their families and their homes, and that's the young people who undertake our programs. Male and female, young people of Indigenous background, females account for about 30% of the participants on the program. During the 8 days in the Flinders Ranges, we take the kids abseiling. They learn about Aboriginal culture, they learn bushcraft and survival skills, and do a number of team challenges and some daily cross-country hikes through the Flinders Ranges. We've been evaluated a number of times. Our most recent evaluation, conducted by the University of South Australia, the Forensic and Applied Psychology Research Group, indicated we lead the world in what we do. We are 89% world's best practice in running a wilderness adventure program, and the young people who go through our program are more likely to remain in school, and they're less likely to get involved in antisocial and criminal behaviours. We have a number of metropolitan regional chapters set up throughout the state. We have 12 of our chapters set up in various council regions and regional areas. I won't list them all, but I was pleased to report that we had our first Prospect chapter where a local Prospect combined team undertook the Operation Flinders Trek last year. We also provide a follow-up program to the young people who undertake our treks, which is very important. It's not just the Flinders program, it's the ongoing support that we provide. So we provide leadership training, anger management courses, job training and placement opportunities, goal setting sessions, outdoor activities, Duke of Edinburgh training, and one-on-one counselling with the young people who need support post-program as well. The benefits for the young people who undertake the trek are they have a big boost of their self-confidence and their self-esteem. They learn the concept of goal setting and how to achieve their goals that they want to set for themselves in the future. They understand the value of teamwork, accept responsibility for their actions, learn about leadership, and are led by positive role models. So the program provides an opportunity for these young people who have, many of them, some very significant challenges in their lives to undertake the trek and then come away with a newfound direction in their lives. Thank you.
So for me, if in our prison system, I believe something like 70% of our adult prisoners came through juvenile justice. So Operation Flinders really interested me as a way to stop teenagers entering the juvenile justice system and therefore ending their potential life of crime and, you know, the burden that they will be to our society. So my goal was to set up a Prospect chapter, and at the moment we have the Prospect Blair Russell Lions committed for 3 years for $7,500. The Prospect Kiwanis also donated money for the first chapter, and I hope in the future. And we also have the Prospect Rotary Club that donated money and has agreed to for this year as well. Now the cost of the chapter was $15,000. It's now gone up to $16,500. So I am hoping that the council will get involved in a regular commitment. The Lions have committed for 3 years, and we were hoping that the Prospect Council might commit for $5,000 for 3 years running, so that there is some stability with the group, so that when Jonathan is out approaching schools or groups that he knows that there will be the money there. I also did 2 fundraising functions. I've got an Operation Flinders quiz night coming up. Last year that raised around $4,000 and I'm doing that again this year. So it's not that I'm just out there asking for money. I'm also fundraising money myself personally because I believe in it, and I believe that if every council sponsored a chapter, that would be so many children in our community that would be being helped before they get involved in juvenile justice, and it seems to be a spiralling thing. A lot of them don't come out of that system once they're in. So I hope that you might see it as a worthwhile thing to invest in as a council.
Thank you. Hang on 5 minutes. Now, if you're able to take questions from councillors, should there be any? Other questions? Councillor Barnett first.
Yes, but yes, I just preface my question with a very worthwhile cause, and I think it's been going for quite some time now.
20 plus years.
20 plus years. And so my question is, I hope you're interested about that to take the Duke of Edinburgh Award. Would it be some feasibility in extending that afterwards? Because I know that when they do their Duke of Edinburgh awards, they can be doing some volunteer work and assisting projects in that community. So I don't know if that might be something to follow up.
Respond. The Duke of Edinburgh Award is offered by Operation Flinders for the students who undertake the trek, and particularly with a number of the council local chapter sponsored groups through the youth advisory committees. Young people do get engaged with further council projects and volunteering support where they undertake the volunteering aspect as part of their Duke of Edinburgh Award through local council.
Councillor Group and then Lee.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. I'm a big fan of Operation Flinders. Many years ago I was a youth worker, so sent a few people your way and got some really good outcomes for those young people. Two questions though. One is, I'm not pretty clear exactly what the role of the chapter is, apart from raising money to send kids, and that might be it. Could you just explain what that is? And the second question, Doug Barrow, is have many young people from Prospect or the Prospect Council area attended, or is there an intention to widen the net?
First part of your question.
From Prospect.
About the chapter, just tell me what the chapter is.
The chapters come together initially through an interested member, a local community member. In this case, Rachel has been the driving force behind the setting up of the Prospect chapter, and that's done in conjunction with local service clubs, local businesses, council, to see if there's enough interest to fundraise enough money to send the local team, and also we liaise with the local schools to help identify the students as well. So it's a community collaboration between councils, businesses and service clubs, and local schools and agencies as well to identify the young people. Next part of your question was young people from the region. We've had teams from Jets Cross High School, from Adelaide High School, from the Roma Mitchell High School in the northern suburbs. The team that's coming up from the local region in the latter part of this year will be from the Bowden Brompton school, community school, and they are young people who have some serious challenges in that particular school. So yes, the chapter is about supporting the young people of your council area, of your region, so that they can undertake the treks with the support of the fundraising efforts.
So it's really up to the school also to have an interest in it, because the school normally supplies a teacher. So our first group, we had 5 from Roma Mitchell and 5 from Adelaide High School combined on the one trip. This year they've identified they don't have any students that they think need that level of intervention, so we're going to the Bowden Brompton area. However, I thought maybe for the future it might be worth approaching Blackfriars or other schools, high schools in the area, if they have students. But this group was ready to go, and we've only got a few months lead time to get it organised.
Councillor Lee.
My question still was around the teams in the chapter, but I still don't quite understand what you mean by local team and what you mean by the chapter. Exactly.
I guess the chapter is the term, and under the chapter it's supported by the council, the businesses and the service clubs, so that there's a financial aspect to the fundraise or to the chapter, which is the raising the funds to send the team, and the other aspect of it is the local schools and the agency to identify the young people and send their students on the program. So it's a collaboration of not just council, not just the service clubs, and not just the local schools. It's all the community organisations working together to enable the young people to go up and do the program.
When you talk about setting a team, what do you think about sending the teachers and the students?
So when I say sending a team comprises of 10 young people and 2 teachers or support staff or counsellors from that particular agency. Agencies may combine and have 5 students from one school and 5 students from another school, and they'll combine to form their 10, and the 1 teacher from each will form the 2 teachers and the 10 students as part of the team. So when we say a team, that's a team of 10 students from the local area plus their support staff or teachers or counsellors from their agency.
And there's also Operation Flinders staff that go with them as well.
That's correct. So the Operation Flinders provides the team leaders to undertake the treks with them. So that's our responsibility to organise that, and we allocate team leaders according to groups on gender and perceived challenging teams. But the schools or the agencies will nominate the 10 students and also the 2 staff members to go along with the students.
Now, I'm a teacher. I've spent a lot of my career in rural public and now in Western public, so I'm well aware of the value of the process and how to serve our kids. But here I'm sitting in my role at council, so this is going to be very, very harsh. Federal government, federal budget means that over the next 3 years, $19 million will go into the capital budget. We have to fund in programs. God knows how. We have just gone through quite a rigorous process of setting our budget, and there are many, many, many community programs that we can't afford to fund. If we can't find that $5,000 over 3 years, which is looking pretty doubtful this year, $5 million, I know that's across the whole state, but that's still a lot to do a company like that. Where do you go from there?
Last year, as Rachel mentioned, we had the support from the local service clubs. The Lions Club was committed for 3 years. The clubs who approached us last year or who supported us last year, indications are they're very, very keen to support again this year. Rachel's been good enough to host another function, so I guess we do rely on the goodwill of the community. We engage the community as much as we can. We ask them to come and visit the kids. We ask them to come up and visit the program and see how it all happens, for them to see the value in the program. So.
What I'm saying is, for us to justify this expense when we can't afford to fund our own local community projects, it's a hard ask for us. So if we cannot just give you the amount that you need, do you just continue fundraising, or do you go up a certain, you just keep asking other things?
We'll continue funding because our aim is to provide the opportunity for as many young people to undertake the treks, because we know the program works.
It is a prospect chapter, but if there's no local kids, there's no prospect kids that go to Operation Flinders, you said that you would use that money to bring up 2 other teams together, is that correct?
Not quite. If there's money coming in from the Prospect Chapter or from the Prospect Council, we will target schools from your region to undertake the trek.
Go further out.
We go and target them. We target them. If we can't find them from schools, we'll go to other agencies. We'll go to other youth agencies. We'll go to Anglicare. We'll go to other organisations that do work with young people in your region to give them a chance to do it.
Yeah, I noticed what a great sponsor is, fantastic sponsor. About for council in South Australia. So our very local one, City of North Banks and Peter Donker brings play for Port Adelaide. What sort of money do they fund? Is it sort of 5,000 from each one? Or?
They are, yes. There's councils who support local teams under the chapter concept, and I'll just listen to Norwood, Payne and St Peters, $3,300 for 2 students. City of Onkaparinga, $7,000. City of Playford initially funded the full amount for $15,000. Port Adelaide Enfield Council the full amount for $15,000. Murray Bridge, $3,000. Port Adelaide Enfield Council I mentioned. Barossa, $2,500. So the Adelaide Hills Council, $5,000. Mount Barker Council, $5,000. So it's comparative to what other councils are putting into the program as well, and with those groups, other service clubs support the Mount Barker Rotaries, the Mount Barker Lions, the Mount Barker Lions, the Kiwanis Club of Adelaide Hills. They're the ones who top up the funding as a result of council support.
I suppose, I think it's a fantastic idea. I really spent some time on the website this afternoon, and I didn't know a lot about it. Looking at it purely from a financial aspect, the council's putting in 2, 3, 4, 5,000 are 10 times the size of the city of Prospect. So Onkaparinga is what Adelaide is.
Happy for a counter offer. We're happy for a counter offer.
It would have been better if you'd been here 2 months ago when we were in the middle of budget session, but look, I think generally it's a fantastic thing. And worldwide, these sort of programs do keep kids from coming back and beating their own door down. And I think it's something we should discuss.
Any more questions rather than statements?
My
questions are again too on the program that Nick's got involved with the Trailways program that they're doing with youth as a major success. And I'm sorry that the councillor on my right here brought politics into it. We're saying that we can't find money to spend on a tour down under. So the reality is we're spending money on the tour down under.
Question, councillor.
My question is that we're going to save some money in the tour down under this year, possibly. Would you like to have some of that money that the council
We'll accept the no as an answer if that comes to you.
Well, I think the food and wine and fashion affair that was in November was also well placed and a great community event. So if you were thinking of saving money and moving back to a different event, Operation Flinders, I think, would be an excellent recipient and a very good community use of money, and it would benefit our community. Even if they don't live in Prospect right now, they may target Prospect for graffiti or violence or theft, or that we have a lot of car break-ins. So I think anything that can be done to make our neighbourhood safer through programs that are preventative, that actually give children another option at life, should be looked at very favourably when you're looking at your budget. And even if it's that you can afford $3,000, it would be greatly appreciated.
Councillor Barnett and Roberts. Councillor Roberts first.
Sorry, can I just get clear, is it 5,000 every year for 3 years, or is it 5,000 for 3 years?
Each year. However, that was just an option. You can counter offer with whatever money. Any money would be greatly appreciated, because it is money that I'm at the moment having to look at fundraising. The price has gone up this year by $1,500. So if the Kiwanis of Prospect, for example, if they donate more, they donated $750. If they're able to, donate $1,500, that will save, $750 less that I need to raise. The Lions have already been very generous with their $7,500, and the Rotary Club have said they will up their amount. It was $1,500 last time, so I'm hoping that they'll get that through for this year's budget as well. So any amount is appreciated, and otherwise it's just more fundraising that will need to go on. Maybe you'd like a table at my quiz night for the Prospect Council.
Would you like to request a 3-year commitment from the various organisations and councils? There is some surety of funding, but also we want to make a long-term project, not just a 1 or a 2-year project for the community and for the schools. We want to make it an ongoing project, and many of these chapters have been with us for 8, 9, 10 years and provide ongoing support in that regard.
Sorry, just a last question, and I'll throw in a statement on asking my question. I heard first-hand some stories, and especially last night, there were some stories about the work that Operation Flinders started, and sort of think that where some people may allude to in this room that we don't have these problems in our area, I think could be further from the truth. So I just wanted to understand, where at the moment some people have alluded that there's no one in our council area that doesn't have these problems. How would you fish them out?
Sorry,
How would you find them?
Quite often they come to us. The agencies or the schools will come to us. We have a waiting list of about 10 or 12 teams who want to do our programs this year who can't go because there's just X number of places on the program, and we can only fill so many at the moment. But with the support or with the results that we receive, that we get with the young people, we find that schools, agencies say we want to be involved because we see the benefits that it provides the young people.
Thank you.
Councillor Barnett.
How can I ask a question and reflection in my voice?
I'm watching.
I'm thinking that would it be a good idea if you could let elected members know of what fundraising activities are happening, that we could be able to support, in that way as well. And would it be a good idea, if, say, at Prospect Fair, we could sort of make a point of that could be a way to contribute. We can do, some of these other like assisting things as well.
Be a raffle or something, or to raise money.
So,
Donate raffle items to my quiz night.
yeah.
A couple of questions, if I can. I'm constantly reminded by Councillor Police how tight our money is, and we've got to spend it on our ratepayers and give them value for money. On the right, she said that. You did it every meeting, so just going with your mantra.
No debating, Mr. Mayor.
How many of your clients, the kids, come from our council area, which is Prospect and Malmesbury, and a couple other suburbs, but
Yeah. In recent years, well, we've probably had 2 or 3 teams. We have, on each exercise, there's 10 teams. We do 5 trips each year, so there's a maximum of 50 teams literally from statewide, from country, metropolitan, north, south, east, west. So on average per year, probably 2 or 3 teams from the inner north would undertake our programs.
inner north meaning
20 to 30.
A Prospect in the northwest, and to Bowden Brompton, to Jets Cross, Golden Rose for a bit further out. So there will be a couple of teams, perhaps 20 students each year undertaking the treks from your local region.
I think we're a bit more local than that. And the other thing is, perhaps directed to you, Rachel, in terms of, can you do us a deal? We've had $88,000 that will be removed from our budget as a result of the federal cuts to the road funding. Are you able to lobby on our behalf and get that back? Because we actually haven't taken that 88 grand out of our budget yet, because it came after the draft budget's been finalised. And that's going to make it, I think, Councillor Lee's point, really difficult for us.
Well, I have responded to your letter to say that yes, I will be lobbying on your behalf, and Stephen Griffiths is our shadow minister for local government, and he's also and infrastructure, and he's our person in our party that has the power to do the biggest amount of lobbying. Obviously, being in opposition makes it harder, although we are in the Liberal team. But it's certainly not something that I have a lot of power in, as you would know. However, I'm more than happy to be, lobbying on your behalf. That is my role.
Yeah, that'd be really appreciated. That makes it doubly difficult. Any further questions from councillors? That being the case, thank you very much for your deputation. Thank you for coming tonight. You're welcome to stay for the balance of the meeting if you wish, but we'd understand if you decided to make your way elsewhere.
Thank you.
Motions on notice, we have nil, and declaration by members of a conflict of interest. Does anybody have a conflict of interest they want to declare tonight on any of the items on the agenda? All right, that being the case, move to the protocol. We have a lot of items on the agenda tonight. Actions reserve them all.
No, one's got to be there.
The audit committee, I might reserve myself, and we can go through that. I'll do the protocol within that item. That's 14.1. Does anybody wish to remove item 16.1 about the timing on the community grants program?
Yes. Is there an alternative?
Okay, that's right. 19.1, does anybody wish to remove the recommendation about independent membership of Council's Development Assessment Panel? Oh. And 20.1, recording of council meetings and workshops. Anybody wish to withdraw that? Have someone move on block. Item 19.1. Cool.
I shall move it on block.
Councillor Dixon, seconded by Councillor Lee. No debate. All those in favour? Yes. It's carried. People's hands didn't move. We've had enough. Okay, thank you. Item 14.1, the audit committee meeting. There are a number of items in here. I'll just do a call over. Does anybody wish to remove item 10.1 on outstanding resolutions? No. 10.2, the audit committee work program. No. 10.3, the third budget review and the audit committee's comments. No. 10.4, the draft annual business plan and budget and financial sustainability plan and their comments. We wish to withdraw that one.
Only to say I don't want to agree with them.
Okay, does anybody wish to move all 4 items?
Yep.
Councillor Dixon, and seconded by Councillor Barnett. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Okay. 16.1, Councillor Dixon, brief reason why you pulled it out.
I've got the director who's no longer with us, having just left, has got an alternative recommendation. The recommendation, that's all you need to know.
That's a brief reason, yeah. So you don't wish to move what's here?
Yeah, it depends. If you want to put up the alternative recommendations, I will. It's to the same effect entirely, but the point I made to the director is the first one isn't just the action. It explains why we got to the action. That's already in the report. So what I was saying was what should be in the motion should just be the action, not why we got to the action, which is precisely there. So I'm happy to move the bit in red as the motion.
Hang on, so just before I ask whether...
Oh, no, that's all right. That's okay.
Just before I ask whether someone wishes to move the original motion, Councillor, your alternative that you're proposing doesn't have an end date. The original one does. I think the purpose of the report was to say that people can have their money.
The purpose of the report is just to say when we start the program.
Yes, but the shift, so I don't mean to debate it, but I understood the purpose was to start it earlier so people had the money in their hands earlier. So it's the end point that is desirous to change, not the start point. It's just a means to an end. Did you wish in your alternative to consider that the funds be allocated in September?
I'm happy with that too. And I thank you for your clarification. That's why you're the mayor and I'm just an elected member.
Later here somewhere. Earlier than that. Okay, thank you. Does anybody, I think that understand what the council is doing as an alternative. Does anybody wish to remove the original recommendation? No, that being the case, council, you wish to move your alternative?
I will move it.
And wish to speak to it?
Look, the only comment I will make is, and I think I've said this before, I'll say it again, I'm very much of a mind with community grants that we as a council should be strategic about it, in as much as our job is to decide should there be grants, yes or no, strategic. Who should be eligible to apply? Strategic. And how much money? Budget, strategic. Beyond that, I just do not think we should get involved in the choice. I don't think it should come back to workshops for us to nut over who do we think, who do we not. It's the staff that interview people, they read their reports, they read their financial plans, they do all that stuff. We don't. I really think that we should just as we do on DAP really, we should be involved in the strategy. The staff do all the background work should come with this is how we're going to spend the money, and unless at a council meeting somebody happens to know that the Nazi party is them in disguise, then that's how we should allocate the money. I do not think as councillors we should bring our politicised self into the decision-making process. So I don't think it should come back to a workshop. I think it should come from this process direct to a council meeting, and unless a council can show really good cause, it should be passed, respecting our staff and the directors that are involved.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody wish to second it? It's just about timing. You Councillor Lee. That'll be the most radical thing to decide upon. You wish to speak to it? Any further debate? Councillor Barnett.
I thought one of the main points was the wording prior to Council's budget 2014/15 approval. We're actually going outside our consultation process. So I thought that wording should have actually been left in.
Yeah, I just want to ask for clarification, and I was a bit mystified because, of course, it can't influence our budget. The amount is in the budget, and the results don't come into August. So I just thought it was a reference to it being around the same time as. But, Acting Director, is there any reason why the words prior to Council's budget were in the recommendation?
Through the Chair, the reason was that because the budget hadn't been approved, so essentially we're going to community consultation without the money actually being allocated to next year's budget.
And this would happen every year, is that your concern?
That's well, certainly for this next financial year, yes. I mean, essentially the grants are being moved for distribution early into the year, based upon some community feedback that the grants allocated to community groups so they can make benefit of that for the Christmas season, for a lot of events and activities that happen over that time. So whether that continues, I would anticipate that's the case, but that's open for feedback.
Thank you for clarifying that. So we may run the risk of issuing invitations to apply for grants that aren't actually funded at all, because you might choose to cut it from the budget, which is your point, Councillor.
That's correct, yeah.
If I may just continue further, and part of the other part is because we're having to do this in particular this year because of the local government election and the caretaker period, so we're trying to get it out of the way for that. So, I mean, if we think that that's it's sort of covered in that because of the report and they're aware of it, well, that's fine, but I just thought that maybe it should be mentioned.
Yeah, just from the Chair to clarify, I don't think the information changes the recommendation. I don't think the recommendation means those things can't happen. I think it's important for us to understand those implications. I just asked the CEO, does this present some embarrassment for us? So let's just check. Are we legally entitled to be able to put out a grant run knowing the budget hasn't actually been approved? Does this expose us to some criticism?
There's no legal impediment for us to do this. Certainly, if funding isn't made available, that could cause some embarrassment, but that's a decision of the elected member.
Okay, that's all. Point well made though. So can I just clarify, if we're doing it this year to avoid caretaker, very sensible, two things. Next year, could it be July rather than June? Acting Director?
Through the Chair, that's correct, yes, absolutely.
Okay, fine. And secondly, Councillor Dixon's point made very well in his speech was if it didn't come to a workshop and went straight from staff to a council meeting, would that save any time and therefore make July viable even this year?
The timeline.
Question, simple, I might ask what we know.
Through the Chair, just checking the guideline, the timeline here. So the applications are open it's proposed they actually open on the 16th of June, and then close on the 25th of July. So no, it really doesn't actually. I mean, going to the answer is no. It wouldn't really. It would not have any impact.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Brewton.
Yeah, I think the Acting Director is correct. The answer is no with the timelines. So just on that, look, I just pick up on Councillor Barnett's point around the timing, and it is, I mean, it's a relatively small amount of money. It's low risk. It's unlikely to cause us any embarrassment. But nevertheless, I think there is a governance issue in terms of us committing money in a budget that we haven't fully consulted nor have we approved. I guess the question for the Acting Director is, if we did push the applications open from the 16th of June to the 1st of July or thereabouts, and push everything back, is it at all possible that we could do that and still meet the September guidelines, timelines? Alternatively, do we actually push the whole process into the beginning of the year instead of into the middle of the year? I'm not sure whether that was covered in the consultation. It has been a really interesting point though around the timing, particularly around Christmas time when people get money and then nothing really happens between January anyway. So I think it is useful to either bring it forward or push the whole thing back a bit later on. But just the question around if we opened it 2 weeks later, could that still work?
So first week of July?
Yeah. We're talking, 14 days.
Acting Director.
So through the Chair, trying to work this out. The calendar.
Paper too.
No, I thought these questions would come out. I just need to make sure the timing would be correct before I answer that.
Back in the meantime, let's have more money.
Yeah. Carry on, I can do
Can I take that as a question on notice and answer the elected members at a later date? I just need to just double check those times and I don't want to give a wrong answer here.
We'll take that as no definitive answer, Councillor.
Yep. Council on my left says there's no problem at all, so
Should be fine.
there's no problem at all. I'll sit down.
Then you agreed, you forgot to mention.
Councillor Groot has the floor.
Thank you. Look, I think it would be possible to do it, but look, at the end of the day, as I said, it's low risk. I just want to make sure we're not putting ourselves into any situation where we might be doing the wrong thing, but I think it is worth looking at the timing of the overall grants program. Can I just have a point that Councillor Dixon made about elected members' participation in the assessment of the grants? And I think he makes a very good point about not wanting to politicise it. I've been involved every year that I've been on council, so it's the last 3 processes and have been involved. I hope that I've added some value to the process and not politicised any of the decisions, and I think Councillor Barnett and Councillor Harris might say the same thing, also being on that group. Or maybe I haven't, who knows? It was a waste of my time being part of it. But I think that the decisions that have come to us as a champions group have been well thought through and well debated, and we don't always agree with each other, and we sometimes come out with a very different response to what was recommended to us, and I think that's the value of it. I think most of these processes, when they come to the council meeting, go through undebated and not withdrawn. So I think the interest is clearly in that champions group to be a bit of a reference and a bit of governance over that. So my comments on that.
Okay, thank you. Any further debate?
Just one last comment the councillor made. I think you really nailed my point to the wind. That when the councillors get involved, talking sailing, when the councillors get involved, it changed the recommendation from the staff. The staff who really put their time into this, they read all the reports, they look at the financials, they interview them all, and it comes to this, and we change everything. I've been through one of those processes, I just wasn't happy with it at all for that very reason.
So, Councillor, you're talking about the people on the committee, or you're talking about when it comes to workshop? Oh, okay, so there is a distinction.
Sorry, no, the champion sort of element of it.
Okay, carry on, you're summing
It's
up.
obviously up to council. I just don't think council should be involved in that element. We should set the strategy for it, the 3 big elements of the strategy, leave it to staff. You know, if you've got good staff, go with them. But to suddenly say, yes, it came to us and we changed everything, that's not what I said. That's not what I said. Pretty close. That's not what I'm saying.
Hang on. Councillor, could you just stick to relevance? This is just about timing, not about who's involved. So,
Are you going to get round to telling this guy that he didn't answer a question? I missed out on that one.
anyway, just
I know.
it's causing unrest, Councillor. You don't need to. Very straightforward. Yeah.
Hey, you guys are the community people, not me.
Just timing. If you finish, Councillor.
No, community workshop. But no, I'm more than happy to grant voted from the first place, and I just think we should butt out when it comes to who they go to.
Okay, thank you. That concludes the debate. On the timing of the round,
I didn't put up my hand before, I didn't ask me to speak.
I didn't see you, Councillor. I'm sorry. The debate is now.
You always never said.
No, that's not true.
He didn't say it's
We're at functions. I'm always there. I saw you at the football.
You actually left the room. That concludes the debate. All those in favour? Against? It is carried. You must best recognise you actually slipped out of the room.
I'm really talking.
Now, item 20.1, recording of council meetings and workshops, page 866. Councillor Groot, a brief reason why you pulled out.
I'd just like to ask some questions on the recommendation.
Okay, do I have somebody who's able to move it in its current form? Councillor Priest, wish to speak to us?
No, I'm sure the council, I'm all right doing that speaking.
Do I have a seconder from the right or from the left of the mover?
John Christine didn't move. No, a second.
Yeah, we'll get it on.
Councillor Barnett, wish to speak to us?
Just briefly, Over the last 3 years I've been back on council, this was, first time I've been through the workshop process and all that, so I think it has quite some value. But I think that the problem of what we actually saw and heard was it was so unworkable as to be an actual record that, until these things get better functionality, I think that the business sort of thinks
Okay, thank you. Councillor Grigg.
Thank you. Look, I've got some concerns about this recommendation. I'm really quite surprised the mover and seconder have done so with such enthusiasm.
Debate, bring it up for debate.
Try not to embarrass the councillor, we'll carry on.
And look, I'm disappointed because we are about transparent government. We've heard a lot about that in the last couple of months, and particularly in the last couple of weeks. And I think this is one way where we can be very transparent. We're here every month at a meeting. We have normally the press here and maybe some people in the gallery. And so they see us probably on our best behaviour. They see us talking about the business that largely has been debated and talked through at the workshops. When I first started on council, I was told about the workshops. I was a little bit like Councillor Barnett, not quite sure, hadn't been through that process before, had turned into a big fan very quickly, and it is an opportunity for us to have a good debate about what we do. And I can't see any reason why we can't record it, notwithstanding the quality issues. And I think that's a bit of a cop-out. The fact is this thing works really well in this room. That thing could work very well in any room with the right configuration. And so on the basis that this report is recommending that we don't record the workshops on the basis of room setup, for me probably isn't good enough. I think we can actually adjust the way the room is set up to have a product which is a much better quality. The other thing we need to remember, of course, is that we receive federal money, I understand, to undertake recording of council meetings. Now, I'm not privy to the content of the contract, but it does say council meetings. It doesn't necessarily specifically mention workshop or the formal council meeting, but I would expect that there would be an expectation that we would be transparent and we would record all of our meetings. I accept the point around storage and the value of keeping them long term, and I think it's not an unreasonable point to make. But I'm not going to support this tonight on the basis that I think workshops should also be, it should also be recorded, and we need to look at ways to make the technology work for us in that way. I don't accept because the light's poor or because of the configuration of the room that that's a reason not to do it. There's no reason, for example, why we couldn't have a workshop in this room if that's the best way of dealing with that issue.
Councillor, just before you resume your seat, am I hearing you asking for an amendment along the lines of what I'm thinking coming out of you is that to seek a further report about recording workshops in, say, 6 months' time? You may have been thinking that.
Well, look, I had considered making an amendment. I haven't, to be perfectly honest, I haven't sought support from other people around the table here. Clearly, two councillors on my left will be voting for it. But let me test the floor and put an amendment there.
What was your amendment?
My amendment was, is it all out there? The manager of government who just written it for me. So the amendment would be that we'll strike out for.
Yeah, I'll get another strike.
Yeah, so no longer rescinds the resolution.
To change this one in entirety?
Yeah. Point of order.
Yeah. The point of order is?
You can't do that. It's totally in opposition to the motion before us. That is not an amendment.
Thank you, Councillor. I'll hold your point of order, and I was about to say that, but I have to deal with the point of order. But before even I speak on the status of it, no, Councillor, you can't move a complete contradiction of that, but you may be able to move an amendment which is to seek a further review in a period of time about workshops. That requires the council staff to come back with an opportunity for us to add workshops to the recording list. Or you can just vote it down. That is your choice, Councillor.
Look, I'm concerned about an amendment that still has the effect of rescinding the current motion. Could I ask that the vote be taken in part?
Sure.
Livable. There's a statement taken part, Councillor. The first one says we basically don't record anything. The second one says we'll only record council. The third one says the period of time. So I'm not sure that it will give you the outcome you require. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Look, I do, and I think 1 and 2 I think 1 and 2 can stand in their own right. That's the point. I don't agree with rescinding the motion. However, I'm happy for recommendation 2 to stand on the basis that we can maybe review that in a period of 3 months.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, hang on, where are you at? I'm happy to take it in parts if that's what you've requested. Did you have an amendment or not?
So the amendment is, it wasn't an amendment, okay, so the amendment is there's an additional point 4, which is council staff bring to a workshop. Hold on. Sorry, I'm thinking of my feet here. Council staff bring to a meeting further recommendations on recording council workshops. To address quality issues. And I'm happy for somebody else to wordsmith that, but that would be the intent within 2 months. Council staff report. Report within 2 months is probably to a meeting in principle.
Where are you at, Councillor? Are you happy?
Council staff report within 2 months, so take that to a meeting.
Thank you. So would they never
You never know. 2 months with further recommendations. Sorry, Kerry. On record. Yep, I'm happy with that.
Right.
So look, I'm really keen to ensure that we have the transparency that I think we should be very proud of having. We should record them. As I said, I just don't think we should be constrained by lighting or a sign as a reason not to do it. I'd also be keen, just as it's a question that probably can't be answered tonight, but what does the requirements of the funding agreement say in terms of our digital strategy for recording meetings? I'd like to know the detail of that, but that can be taken on notice if possible.
So the council meeting, no committee meeting.
Do you know that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'll just take the liberty of asking the mover. Where's the mover going? See the mover. Oh, he's eating lollies. The mover, if he's happy to consider incorporating item 4 within the original motion.
Yeah, I'd be happy with that.
Second it?
Are you okay to?
Are you happy to incorporate?
Sorry, I thought you asked me a second. I was going to say no. I can't.
Thank you. I'll just seek leave of the meeting to incorporate. All those in favour? Against incorporation, starts incorporated. Thank you. Councillor Group, you're done? Yeah. Any further debate? Councillor Dixon.
I'm wildly in favour of as much transparency as possible. I've spent years working on the accounting portfolio to get as much information out of the public. Couldn't agree more. But if you look at workshops, many councils actually hold them on camera so that they can really say anything they like, be devil's advocate, all sorts of things to try and test without fear of being reported or whatever. Our state government, right around Australia, they work in camera. Again, the idea being that you can toss everything around, and even if you don't believe in it, just to open your mind up, get some ideas without having somebody reported in the community. And one of the problems with recording something like a workshop, it can tether people in, gee, I better not. I mean, I'm one, as you know, I'll toss out ideas left, right, centre if I've got the mind to think of them. And I think that freedom is worthwhile. The real key are the important decisions you make at committee meetings and councils. That's where it really matters, because there you're making decisions that affect the public. That's what transparency is about. It's not wondering what a councillor's brainstorming session is. It's just trying to open up ideas which the councillor themselves might have not thought through. That's the whole idea of brainstorming. Get ideas out. You might not even vote for it. You might listen to other people who will give you good reasons why it's not a great idea. All of those things are fabulous to be held, in my opinion, out of the public eye. Just open up your mind and let rip. And in councils, in workshops to a great degree, it's what we do. The key with recording workshops is your decision making. What are the decisions that will affect the public? Your workshop thought bubbles don't necessarily. You get to the end of that and then you make decisions or you vote on what goes forward into your council meetings. And that to me is the key. That's where you need transparency. But in terms of just picking up, our thought bubbles, it's no value to anybody. It can be very misleading because it's not what ends up in the public eye. So I'm in favour of the original motion. I don't mind the recommendation, the 4 being there. Who knows, somebody might come up with something brilliant. But I'd be very surprised. Much like Alan's thoughts on it, he really felt that it just constrains you a little rather than being totally open. So I would be voting for 1 to 4, and I think there's great value in keeping it the way it is.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Ross.
I couldn't disagree more with Councillor Dixon. I think that the workshops are open to the public. Most times we have courtesy from the Messenger Press, and I don't believe there's. I don't see any problem. I think it's fantastic that we've got the recording there in the workshops, and I think it's incumbent on us as a council to actually find a better alternative than just saying, oh, it's bad quality, so therefore we're not doing it. I think that it's the way I see it is that I think it gives our people, our ratepayers in Prospect, actually a better opportunity to see what we're actually doing behind closed doors. Instead of saying, oh, they have meetings every Tuesday night and they have $13.60 for dinner. It opens up the door so they can say, well, yeah, they are there till 9:30, 10 o'clock, they are working hard, and they are coming up with thought bubbles, they are throwing out ideas, and that's why they chose to go on to council. To sit there and say that, oh, well, I'm not going to be open and honest, I think it's quite disrespectful to the council in itself.
Point of order in reference to the Act.
I'd like Councillor to reconsider the open and honest. There was no mention of me or anybody else being not open, not honest.
Reference to the Act.
Yes, slow.
Reference number to the Act.
295.
295.
Yeah, presume your seat overruled.
And I'll withdraw the honest because I actually didn't say that, so I apologise for that. But it's the perception that you would sort of take from not being open. So therefore I won't be voting for this tonight because I think that the council should be recording workshops. And I don't think that we should be behind closed doors. I think it should be open. It should be on a website. I think our website, we're supposed to be the digital capital of the world, that we want to embrace that, and we want our recording on the website so people can see what we're doing. And I think we're doing some good things.
Okay, thank you. Any further debate?
Are your state government meetings held open to the public?
State government.
Thank you.
I know this is, again, significant. Councillor Lee, did you wish to speak?
No, thank you.
All right. In the absence of any further debate, Councillor Priest, if you wish to sum up.
Yeah, I concur with what Councillor Ross on my right said, that our workshops are open anyway to the public. They can actually come along and hear what we're saying. Occasionally the messenger reporter pops in, occasionally, on the invite of the Mayor, hear a debate on
oh, well, I got them to stay away.
yeah.
Sorry.
Chocolate.
Sorry, Councillor.
That's something else, occasionally the messenger reporter press come, but they're open to the public, so I can't see why. I can't record them. While he is poor, so I don't fix that.
Well, he moved it. Yeah, he did move it.
I need to get it, bring it out of the debate. So I will brought out. So look, yeah, I just concur with Councillor Ross.
Okay, thank you. That concludes the debate. Second part, all those in favour of item 1? Cindy? 1, 2, all those against item 1? 1, 2, 3, 4, item 1 is lost. Item 2, all those in favour of item 2? Against? Carried. Item 3, recording to be made available for 2 months on the site. All those in favour of that? Against that? That is carried. Item 4, the amendment now part of the motion. All those in favour?
Not necessary.
No. No. All those against? Still needed. Okay. Right. Thank you. Second members. So CEO, select members, CEO, can you just clarify in light of that motion, at what stage will workshops and, well, council meetings be recorded and up on the website, on what date? Director?
Through the chair, it will probably be 2-3 days. That was the turnaround time. So 2-3 days time. Hopefully,
Which will be the first one to be up on the website?
This one.
Tonight, and from workshops
And from here on.
Okay, right, thank you. Right, council diary, you'll see it in your agenda there, Club 5082 on the 6th of June. The consultation drop-in session at the library on the 14th of June. North Adelaide versus West Adelaide at our Oval on the 15th of June, and North versus Adelaide, Sunday the 22nd of June. I believe the Lord Mayor is making his way up to support what he now calls his team. Well, here at Adelaide, it's a team called Adelaide, so he better support them. Probably fair enough. General business. Do we have any item? We have one item of general business that is from Councillor Priest. It's up on the screen. Councillor Priest, you to speak to it.
Yeah, look, actually I've been to a couple of the Operation dinners to raise funds for this through invitations from the Port Adelaide Infield Council, and some of the people who have attended who have actually been through the programs, where they were going, and where they ended up, and that sort of.
So, point of order?
Sorry, I just want to declare an interest in the for the Operation Flinders.
Right, okay.
It was on recently.
You're a couple of reform councillor. So you gave reform? So councillor, just declaring your interest, not a conflict of interest.
Just an interest.
Okay, thank you. Yep, thank you. That'll be recorded. Councillor? Second. And why? What, are you a member of the committee or?
One of my clients is a board member for Operation Flinders, and my relationship with Rachel and the Liberal Party as well.
What is your relationship with Rachel?
Not sure it's a conflict.
I don't think it's that conflict.
I'm interested. I have interest. I look at the website.
You keep talking on this.
Okay, sorry. Councillor Priest, back to you.
Yeah, and up through the Port Council dinners, been invited by the mayor, sorry, to some dinners that Operation Flinders have attended through charity to raise funds, and meetings of people that have been through the program, where they were heading for, and where they actually ended up was fantastic. And I just actually think that our council can spare the money. If we can spend $263,000 on a tour down under, and bring $13,000 worth of food and alcohol per year, I think we can afford to spend $5,000. I'm quite happy if that the council here wants to win, and $5,000 or maybe $20,000. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Ask once again, do I have a second? There being no seconder, the motion, sorry, lapses. Okay. Do you have any further items of general business? That was actually quite late. Do I have any other items of general business? No, that being the case, Move on to matters of an urgent nature. Anyone want any trees cut down? No, sorry. I can't keep doing that. No,
So just a question on that, just a question to the chair.
urgent, question of urgent nature.
Because the trees, they are going to replace them, aren't they? There's 500 donated trees.
No, because we don't have any money in the budget.
No, they're going to donate 500 mature tree stalks.
That's where you get some operations.
So the question as I take it was, would SA Water replace a tree? I have put that to the CEO to say they need to put a 10-metre tree back. He's going to have that discussion. And are there any other items of an urgent nature? If not, there are confidential items are nil. Meeting is closed. Thank you, councillors. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, members, for coming along.